Almost Shabbat Shalom. Let's see who is here. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes before Shabbat is a good sign. Okay, let's see. Well, hello everyone. Some of you will see it now, some of you will see it later, but if you are here, if you're seeing it at any time, that means that you are here. You need to see that. You need to be here. And it's courage. Courage really is something that is driving us, that is a key for getting from here to here. Courage from getting from one place to the other. You know, and it's and many, and this month, this week, this month, it's just been a real transformational period. Pay attention if you felt any energetic blockages that suddenly feels like it's releases, things that are out of the ordinary that started appearing in your life. And so now we are in the holiday of Sukkot, which is Tabernacles. That's where I'm sitting at. I'm going to tilt it a little bit. So you see you have it's a dwelling, it's a temporary dwelling that is closed three sides. It's a three-sided temporary dwelling. And Sukkot, tabernacle, is to commemorate, to remember the times that, on the story level, right? Just everything has several levels. And so on the story level, on the outside, to remember the times leaving Egypt and being in the desert and being in a dwelling, in such a dwelling. And what it is, and the way that it is to be built, it is, let's see here. Oh, first of all. Uh-oh. There you go. There you go. So it is a hut. It can be 4 doors closed from 4 directions, but can be also 3. And it's made very simple. It's anything that can close the sides, and on the top, the roof has to be something that is from earth, that is grown in earth, not anything synthetic. So there are a few things that I want to show you later. I'm going to talk to you about the symbolization of these plants and fruits. Okay, so this is part of Sukkot. This is part of the spiritual powers. Well, I'm losing the words. The spiritual connotation and the spiritual representation to everything that we are going through, and everything that is happening every day. You know, I heard somebody was telling me the other day, well, you know, things are outdated. Now we need to upgrade things. We're living in a different time. Well, you know what? If we're looking at a story level on just what happens on the surface, maybe a person is right. But if we're looking at everything that is talked in the Torah and everything that is in the holidays and the symbolism, then we really can make from it what we want, right? So, all right. So before I get to this, Sukkot holiday technically should have been celebrated in when the Exodus from Egypt was about in Nisan, which is around April. But there is a special reason for that. There are several reasons why it is happening now, and one of them is that it'll be too easy to do it at that time. It'll be too easy weather-wise to do it at that time. Weather-wise, because it's not that hard to sit in a. Now I'm in California, so here it's, you know, there is sun much of the time, but in other parts of the world, also in Israel, it's a change of seasons. It's a change of seasons, so it's easier to do it in April technically. But doing it in April so no problem. So you're outside in the sun and you're in a temporary hut and all this kind of stuff, and it's nice. But it's harder to do it in October in this time because of the weather. The other thing is, we just passed now Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. Sukkot, this holiday, he has, and these are the 2 points that I want to touch upon. The two themes, main themes for this holiday. This is joy and unity. Right? It's joy and unity. Now, after going through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and after going through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and going inside and looking at how we were this year, this holiday that actually commands, if we're looking from that aspect, commands us to be happy, and I'll talk about that, commands us to be happy, fits right exactly after the redemption, after the cleansing, after the cleansing, meaning recognizing where we were, maybe a situation, maybe some kind of a behavioral pattern that, or something that we've done to somebody, or we recognize that we've done something that wasn't right by the other person. There was Yom Kippur, so we call to repent, or we call to talk about this, or to clear those energetic blockages. How perfect it is to have a holiday that is picking the fruit up of that effort and the joy, and being in the joy, in this space. So there is a great understanding for how can I command somebody to be happy? How can, God says, be happy, or however you look at that, God, universe, but it is about how can I make somebody be happy? I can ask somebody to go get something, or hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? How can you ask somebody to be happy? It's a matter of the heart. So there are two things in that. The first thing about Sukkot, and this is why this is a temporary hut, everybody builds it. It doesn't matter if it is somebody who doesn't have enough finances or the means to build a sukkah, and some that are richer build also a sukkah. It's all the same thing. It's outside of the house. It's it's a sukkah. It's made out of very temporary materials that we're not using on everyday on a regular basis. And this is the key, the temporary. And Chag HaSukkot, this holiday, is here to remind us that everything is temporary. Everything here is temporary. Everything in this plane, in this existence, is temporary. Now, when we practice this understanding that everything is temporary, the few things that can happen. First of all, it's lighter. It helps us be more in joy, and leads to another key of lowering expectations. And this is really what is weighing on us many times. That we expect and we get disappointed. That we expect and we get disappointed. We have life experiences. And understanding that everything is temporary, everything happens. First of all, everything happens for a reason, and for the reason of good, and the good reason for the good of our own journey. But then to recognize that everything is temporary, and this is also a very important in relationships. When somebody is arguing with their partner for years about something that they will never change. So it's, where do we put our attention? Where do we put our focus? And many times we find ourselves, some can find themselves that are focusing so much on something that happened and getting all worked up about this and all agitated or not sleeping, or somebody lost money after working so many years for receiving this money, and it is hard. But when we understand that everything is temporary, nothing goes with us, nothing is really ascending with us, then things can become easier. Here's a question that if you're here, please share your thoughts. The characteristic or the character of a person or the humankind is the character of the humankind or of a person is to be happy and by default, and there has to be a certain reason to be sad, or is the characteristics or the character of a person or the characteristic of humankind is to be sad, and some things and we work hard, or some things can make us happy. So which is it? Are we happy and we need a reason to be sad, or by default, or are we by default sad and looking and fighting all the time to be in a happy place? We are by default a happy, happy, happy by default. Over the if we look at the baby, this is the best answer. When a baby comes out, when a baby comes to the world, when the baby is growing up, when a child, if we're connecting to our inner child, many times we're doing work with our inner child and connecting to that inner child, right? What are we connecting to? We're connecting to a source of joy. We're connecting to a source of joy in our lower place, or in our spiritual evolution journey. We're connecting to our inner child. To remember, what are we remembering? We're remembering that joy place, that place that brought us joy, without any preconceived notions, without any filters that we accumulated over the years. We are looking for that purity, to this pure place, to this place with innocence, to this place that didn't have any of these filters, right? So by default, our condition, our predisposition is happiness. What happens over the year, but no, some people will respond differently. Some people will say that no, life's, uh, and then that happens, right? And some other, not many, but some other will say the opposite. Will say the opposite, that it is happy, and we're just causing ourselves pain. And this is true when you go through the spiritual evolution or the spiritual journey, when you are realizing slowly that things are predominantly external of yourself, external, are out of you. And those things and people and situations that are out of you many times are creating this, eliciting this reaction with us or within us, or we are affected by. For example, like when we were born to a certain family. Did we choose to born? Yes, we chose to be born. Part of our journey, part of our spiritual ascensions. The mosquitoes are playing, and I have those candles here, but nicht gut nicht. They're still coming. The chances of anything coming from Mars are mosquito to one. They're still coming. They're actually hovering. We have these candles that's supposed to deter mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are actually partying around the rim of that candle. Maybe it's the wrong candle. Maybe it's attracting mosquitoes candle and not a repellent. Anyway, so we are happy by default, but these experiences in life, these filters that are causing us, that are tempting us to be in that space, to put this filter, and this is hard, and this is hard, and this is hard, and we go through life experience, and it is hard. So automatically, by default, one may think that our initial condition is to be sad, and we're looking for happiness. So we are happy. We're looking, we're going through life experiencing, and how we are relating to what is happening is what is dictating how we're going to feel, how we're going to be. And so this is a different talk that I have about our relationship to what is happening. So this is something else. But so joy. Now there is another technique that I'm working that are on breathing, and I talked a lot about breathing this week because breathing is really important. Breathing fully, full breaths from our belly, not not our chest, but from our belly. Lay down, put a book on your belly, see how the book is rising up. Focus on raising your belly, not your chest, your belly. Deep breaths like that, and that will clear so many things and will bring so much clarity into everyday activity, every single day. So, and eventually, it'll happen effortlessly without consciously working at it. So, there is a kabbalistic breathing meditation that is working on one of the synonyms of the word joy in Hebrew. In Hebrew, joy has 10 synonyms. One of them is chedva. Chedva comes from the word chad, sharp, meaning it describes oh my Google, man, describes the beginning, the initial impact with an experience. Think about the first time you're experiencing something that you didn't experience until that moment. It is that initial shock, initial contact. Another example I like to give, when you go up a roller coaster, when you drive a roller coaster, you take the first cart, you go up the first incline, where the cart is tied by the chains to take you to the highest incline. Just before you drop, your tuchus, your butt is lifted out of the chair for like just before you drop down. That is the beginning of the experience, and you have you have this kind of skipping a beat, right? That is chedva. That is sharp. That is the sharp entry to the experience. And so there is this special meditation that is called chedva that is based on that, and there is that video on my channel, my YouTube channel. So if you go to bit.ly/ilan YouTube, you will get there. But back to this. So we have joy. So joy is Sukkot. Sukkot is to be joyous. The other place that is a very easy once we're there to be joyous is when we're grateful, when we're in gratitude mode, when we appreciate everything, we understand everything that we have, and that's why also understanding that everything is temporary. To understand that everything is temporary is key to focus. Where are we focusing on? Where are we focusing on, and what's happening in life? Are we focusing on what we don't have, or focusing on what we do have? And that's across the board. So gratitude and understanding everything is temporary, and this place of a joyous place is illuminating. The second part is unity, and this is where these come in. So we have here four kinds of the main, the top of the chain of vegetation. Okay, and I'll explain. So we have the citron, which is considered the king of all these, and the king in its own line, because it has a smell and has a taste. Right, has a smell and has a taste. The lulav, the palm, right? So that's the heart of it, right? Has the taste but doesn't have the smell. The what was this? There's the will. So this is the willow. I'm trying to remember the names in English. The arava that has no smell and no taste. And hadas. How do you say it in English? Hadas. I'm going to look for this. Right. So this has a smell but no taste. How do you say it in English? Hadas. And so these are also a representation of the four kind of people, the four kind of conditions that we are. There's the person who has also good intentions and good deeds, right? The citron. We have the you have the palm, which has good deeds, but not necessarily intention is like happening, not really intentioning on doing it. We have the Hadass, which has good intentions but no deeds. And we have the willow, which is no deeds, no intention. And many times, think about that. Many times, I was talking about earlier about Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, about repentance and a confession and really understanding with ourselves what's going on. Many feel that if they are not, they didn't do something good as they see that, then it's lost. They don't have there's nothing for me else to do. It's too late for me. It's too late for me. God and earth is always receiving. No wonder they call earth Mother Earth. Mother always accepts, always accepts. And the symbol of this is that also if you don't have no deeds, no intentions, yes deeds, no deeds, yes intentions, all of them, this is the time where we all come together and we hold these under the sukkah. There are certain movements that invoke energy fields, energetic fields to each direction. So we have, and each direction is also four directions, north, south, east, west. Just like we have four kind of people. Just like everything is tied into the four letters, a name of God. Just like everything goes with the four, with the mind, heart, body, spirit in the circle of life. Just like we have in the Torah, the four levels of understanding, the pardes, the orchard, the story, the hint, the deep study, and the mystic. Right? Everything is four. Everything has. It's very important. It's very interesting that this is happening. So this is where we bring everything into unity. This is where is a symbol for unity. And guess what? This is now the time to be in unity. The time, if any other times in our time was ripe, now is the time. Because with everything that is happening, with the push of separation, with the push and cultivation of fear by the governments and by their employers, we're being cultivated into fear. We're, we're being pushed to think from a place of fear. We're pushed to actually not think. We're actually being encouraged by government and its employers to be in fear and and not to think, to be in a survival mode, to take things as we are told. And this is a time for us to come in unity. Why? Because when we're in unity, we're able to see really what is happening, see really what is happening because we have the power. Because when we're collectively coming together, we're also individually, but we're collectively, our power is enormous. And this is what the fear is on that side of government and their employers, is that we understand it. And here's the thing, we do understand it, but sometimes we have a fear of the courage of to do certain things. So with this, with unity, with coming together, this is a strong encouragement, because when we are unified, guess what? We are happy too. This is in our DNA. This is part of. This is in our code to belong, to be part of something, to be part of something bigger, greater, to do good. Why? Because we come from good. So we come from good. We want to do good. We want to be in goodness. We want to be happy, and that can happen much easier when we are unified and when we are together. So, Shabbat Shalom. Happy everything that you create. Unity and joy. That's it. Yes. And I don't know, I have to deal with the mosquitoes now on my legs. Thank you for being here. This has been wonderful. Let's see. See, somebody said something. Hold on, I have to see that. Oh. Hi, Gina. Thank you. Let's see. Would you say happiness and or sadness is a result from our state of mind, and does it begin in either or when we are born? That's interesting. So here's the thing. When we are born, Thank you, Gina, for this wonderful question. So she asked, would you say that happiness and or sadness is a result from our state of mind, and does it begin in utero or when we are born? So when we are in utero, actually, we are here, but we are not here. We are not, while we are getting fed, while our body is being built, the car is being built. We're still not. We're still not. I'll answer the other question in a second. We're still not conditioned to what is going outside. So our body inside is being built, is being assembled, right? I'm just using it as a metaphor like that. Is being assembled. We're not conditioned yet to what is happening outside. What we are like a transistor. So we are receiving, if somebody is singing to the baby while in the belly, the baby, how many, and that happens, and that I've seen personally, where a baby would be quiet after they come out of the belly when the father sings a song that was sung to the baby in the belly, and the baby relaxes because they recognize it. So when we come out, we're a clean slate as far as the human experience. Now, here's what I want to say about the human experience and our journey, is that our soul is cumulative, meaning, let's talk about past lives for a second, right? Past lives, some of us remember past lives, some of us are diving into it, which means our soul level remembers those past life experiences, or remembers certain aspects of them anyway. But what don't we remember? Exactly, the memories. Where when we come here, our soul is cumulative, but our mind is like they hit a reset button. It's like you zap the RAM on a computer. You hit the reset button, and and what and so we're hitting the reset button, and we don't remember. But our soul level experiences. For example, look at yourself. Look at yourself. Each one of you who is looking, who is paying attention. Some of you feel that you are an old soul. No, exactly. I heard that sound. Some of you feel that you're an old soul. Some of you feel that you've been through so many lifetimes. Some of you don't feel that. Well, why is that some people do feel that and some people don't feel that? It's because our soul is cumulative. But when we come here, our memory is hit reset button, bloop, reset. So we are to rediscover all that we discovered without any memories. Otherwise, if we know already the map, then there won't be any surprises, right? We may do the same thing. We may choose this lifetime to do something different. So, so when we are processing in the utero, we are still processing our soul level. We're processing our soul level, and we are allowing these things to come in and to seep in. Now, when we come out of this human experience to the body, we're a clean slate, because we didn't experience any trauma, we didn't experience any expectation, we didn't experience any sadness, any human joy and happiness. We haven't experienced it yet, so we are a clean slate. So as far as being happy and or being sad, I don't believe it has to do anything with the utero part, because it's not functional there. It's it's just not. This happy and sad is happening here in this conflicting state that we are in all the time, in the state of humanity that we are experiencing all the time. Are we happy? Are you sad? Do you and what happens? What happens? Many times we're not when somebody is not happy, a soul level is not happy. It's not, you see people that have everything in life but are still miserable. Why? Because when their soul is telling them I'm hungry, we automatically are. Remember, I was talking about external things, allowing external things to make us happy, external things to make us make a choice for us, right? So many times when we are lacking of something, we're looking for external sources to fulfill our joy, to fulfill our bang. And so if the soul level, the soul deprived of something, we give her $100. This is the sages are saying. רצה 100, רוצה 200. Once he got 100, now he wants 200. Once he got 200, now he wants 400. Oh, hello, Peggy. Let's see. I'm trying to see what's this thing with. We have happiness without sadness and vice versa. So, I'm getting there, Gina. Can we have happiness without sadness and vista? Oh, vice versa. Well, when we are so let me get there. So when we come out, we're a clean slate, as a baby, right? We're a clean slate. We don't have any of these attachments, right? And slowly we're collecting. So now, what is happening over time in life? We're going to courses. We're apprenticing with shamans, with rabbis. We're going through our spiritual journey. And what do we do through this spiritual journey? We learn to identify the tools that we have that help us navigate and help us understand and see the picture as it is, and not as I'm conditioned by to see it. So, if I know that up until 15 years ago or 10 years ago, I was even later predominantly, oh, this is happening. Oh, I'm being conditioned by what is happening outside, or by emotional states, or by what did the other person said, and the other person end up triggering my traumas, and those triggers, not realizing that I was going to these places, those triggers would take me to places that I'm like, how the hell did I get there? How the hell did I get there? And how the hell did I get there? I got there through hell, through allowing this mind, through allowing this monkey mind to play games. This is the evil inclination. This is the Yetzer Hara. This is that is pushing us all the time. Every single time we'll find an opportunity to push us to our limits, so we can fall into those places, because it becomes a cycle. It becomes a cycle. Now, the more we practice one thing, right? The more we practice one thing, so we get these tools, and we get these tools, and we say, okay, how many times did it happen to you when you get tools to work on something, and now you feel even more depressed, or you say, I don't understand. Now that I understand all these things, now that I see all these things, why do I feel this? Why do I feel down? Or am I not supposed to be happy all the time? So here's the thing: we are in a duality existence, and we are all the time in a pull or push. There we go. I got a text confirmation. By the way, we always get messages in our vicinity, in the way that we can understand that. We always get spiritual confirmations and messages, but we'll talk about it later. So when you get a text, you say something, you get a text, you hear a dog bark, you hear something that is out of the ordinary but yet part of nature, then you can start making meaning out of it, because you start paying attention. So we are starting to, we are all the time in a pull or push. When we're in a pull or push, it's actually for our benefit. It's like when in Judaism is talking about, well, why don't we want to eradicate evil altogether? Let's eradicate evil. What do we need evil? What do we need this negativity? Because then we won't have anywhere to come to. Because then it'll be conditioned automatically that, oh, we just do this, we're happy like robots, and there is no this pull and push. And actually, this pull and push is what teaches us so much about ourselves, about how do we react, about how do we respond, about what do we say, about how do we say, do we say? And so this being in an enlightened space, or being in a evolved space, doesn't mean that we cannot experience sadness. It is, what do we do with this, right? So sadness, it's a natural condition of our human existence. What I don't like to be in is to be governed and to be ruled by whatever emotions are being triggered. because then I have this emotional attachment to something. And this emotional attachment is taking me out of my center to make decisions based on how these emotions are fluctuating. And when we are not, and when you're not in this good place, when you are not in this, you feel in this harmonious place, when you are not in a place of joy, when you're not in a place of happiness, you know that you're out of your center. But that's exactly it. You're out of your center so you can see where you are, you can map your experiences, you can see where you're making your choices from, why were you triggered, and bring yourself back by different tools and means that you can, by breathing, by anything, by meditation, by sound healing, by yoga, by whatever is bringing you further. Let's see here. Peggy. Conditioning. So you're absolutely right, Peggy. So remember, I don't know if you were here. I don't know if it shows or it doesn't show. Yeah. Okay. So you guys see the notes that Peggy is writing also. Um, so remember in the beginning, I was mentioning that what can lead us, what can help us be in a happy place, right? Because it's all here. Everything is here. Everything is here. This leads, we can feel, but also the other way around. Whatever the body is feeling, the mind will pick up on that, and then it'll feed it back, and then it'll feed it back, and then it'll feed it back. Now in this place, we know also, and I'm strongly all the time saying that, always pay attention to your body. Like when you're encountering a new situation, what is your body saying? What is your body telling you right away? Because your body is your guide, your mind is your pride. Here it is. So body automatically responds to something. When you go into a place and you feel negative energy in a place, what would you do? You feel that. Do you always allow that to come and to guide you, or you're pushing it down? When somebody comes to me and tell me, you know what, I have a tough decision. Do I make a decision here or here or here or here about this sort of thing? Um, so what does your body tell you? What did your body tell you at first? What was the first reaction? Because anything after that is the processing of the mind. So it is always a decision. It is always a decision to see where we are, gratitude, being grateful and being in gratitude, recognizing that everything here is temporary, that everything here is temporary, and that will automatically help you focus your energy on things that do matter, rather than, oh, honey, why did you leave the cup of coffee on the table? I tell you this for 15 years. Why do you have to leave your coffee? All right? Expectations, right? You expect somebody to pick up your cup of coffee. For 15 years, you nag your husband, pick up your cup of coffee. And he tells you something else. And you both have some things that are for years. But what is that? That's the expectation, right? You're expecting. There is a story about one of the rabbis that was, I think, like 100 years ago. Yeah, Rabbi Iya, and his wife was taking care of the children, and but she wasn't really nice to him, to her husband. She wasn't really nice to her husband. She had something against him. Yeah. And she wasn't really nice. And he would cook by himself. She wouldn't cook to him, and his students would tell him, Rabbi, why aren't you not divorcing? I mean, many women would like to be with you. You're such a great. I said, I have a great wife. I he learned. He said, I learned just. I expect two things of my wife: to take good care of our children, which is the most important thing to me, and because he was religious, to she releases me from worrying about other women. That was his answer. So what happened here? He reduced his expectations. And this is one thing to check. Where do we expect certain things? Now, this is a story that happened 100 years ago. Nevertheless, it is relevant today, as it like the sun is in the middle of the night. It's relevant because when we have expectations, we're bound to be disappointed, especially when we have expectations from somebody else. So it is a decision. It is a decision, first of all. It is not a feeling, because if you are going by the feeling first, let me first feel. You know, how many times do you procrastinate and you tell yourself, you know what, first of all, once I feel good, then I will, go and do that. But the opposite is helpful. Do something that will get your body to emotion of certain, to be in emotion so you can feel good. So it is all about a decision. So if you are procrastinating, get up and do something. Doesn't matter what it is, just get up and do something. Okay? So it is a decision. It will start first. It will start first on how we are looking at things. And this is part of a workshop that I'm talking about, our relationship to everything that happens around us, our relationship to reality, our relationship to truth. You know, truth doesn't have emotions, if you think about that. Truth doesn't have emotions. The only emotions that are associated with truth are those that we attach to, and those that we have relationship with. So there is a certain situation that is happening, and I have a reaction to what is happening. What is happening is happening. It is my relationship to that experience that is going to dictate how this experience is going to be experienced. How I'm going to experience this based on my relationship and how I'm looking at that. So, yes, I do believe that happiness is a decision, and it is a decision that drags a feeling. Now, if you're that kind of person that you need to feel, and you say, I need to feel, I need to feel, I need to feel first, I need to feel first. Okay, then do something. Do something that you know is contributing to your joy and happiness. Not because of the something itself, not because, oh, um, I'm going to drink something that's going to make me happy, but because you're getting yourself moving. You're getting yourself moving. You're getting yourself to do something that breaks the chain. It's about breaking the chain of that procrastination that eventually will lead to self-doubt and so this is what I talk about the workshop. You can reach out to me. It's about our relationship to truth, our relationship to reality. And what is reality? Are we creating it? Are we part of it? Are we part of that movie? Are we part of that movement? Are we creating that movement? So, thank you very much for everybody for your questions and for your comments. And let's see, there is another, no, not this one. What is this? That's right. That's right, Gina. And so this is she's talking about trigger. This is what we are learning. This is how we're learning from. This is how we're learning through triggers. This is another part of my workshop, and this is a concept that I call trigger time, true time. Trigger time, true time. Peggy, you were talking about whether it's a decision or a feeling. I'm not going to go into the whole aspect of this workshop, but trigger time, true time really helps understand when we're getting triggered until the time we realize that we got triggered, and what do we do during this period of time, and how do we shift that perception to create a different response. So, thank you so much for being here. It's a learning experience for me every time to sit here and I'm grateful to see your questions and your participation and learning greatly from that. So joy, be happy, be merry. Have a citron after the holiday is over. We're going to cut this and put it in arak, which is almost like an ouzo. It's an Israeli, very high concentrated spirit liquor, and putting this in, letting it ferment. Mwah, delicates. Shabbat shalom. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Oh wait. Hello, Peggy. I'm glad it is a decision because feelings are difficult for me, and I have had an expectation that led to unhappy. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you very much for sharing that. It is a decision. Think about it, right? Think about it. It is a decision. So here is the thing. Here is something. Think about it. Give yourself an exercise. Give yourself an exercise. Decide that after this broadcast, you're just going to, you are already happy. There are just things that are clouding. You can always go back to that if you want. But try that. Try this decision. Try look at what you have. What you have in front of you. What you have in your life. Who is in your life? You know, there is a sentence, I talked about it last time. There is a sentence from our sages that is saying, Miu ha'ashir hasameach bechilko. Who is that rich person? Who is the happiest person? That person who is, who is the rich person? That person who is happy with what he or she has. Now, the word rich in Hebrew is ashir, 4 letters. Ain, Shin, Yud, Resh. Ain stands for eyes. Shin stands for shinaim, teeth. Yod stands for yadayim, hands. And Resh stands for raglayim, feet. Somebody who doesn't have eyesight but is multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, what would that person give to see again? He would give everything. Everything. So, you're already a billionaire because you can see. Think about hands, teeth, feet. It'll start from something simple. Getting up in the morning. Clean slate. Just like a baby. Getting up in the morning. You know, many times if you're going to sleep with a feeling, you get up in the morning, it takes you about 15 minutes maybe, and then you remember what happened yesterday, and then you're like, oh man. But those 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes till you wake up, it's quite a bliss, right? Same thing if you had something happy that happened or a good place you were last night. You wake up in the morning, you remember, suddenly you had an extra notch of excitement. That's different than happiness, but excitement is the understanding of that moment. Your understanding of that moment, you understand, oh, I'm excited because you just realize it. You were chedva, the sharpness of the experience. You realize that experience right there in that moment. And so you're happy about that. So I would like to hear from you, Peggy. You can share this with me and yes, and let me know. That'll be wonderful. Try that. It is a decision. Happiness is a decision. It is. It's just if you look at that, you can practice that, and from there it starts abracadabra. From there we can start creating what we're speaking, because that will be a healthy place. Think about when you say, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want this to happen to me. I don't want this to happen to me. I don't want this to happen to me." And you keep saying, I don't want this to happen to me. What happens? This happens. Why? Because we kept saying it. We kept giving it life. You know, doesn't matter. It doesn't know yes, no. We just talk about it. It comes. But the intention of where we are is going to shape how this is going to taste like, how this is going to look like. And so when we are in a good place, then we can start manifesting. And that's for a different talk. Be happy, be merry, smell, and I will see you soon. Now, if you want to ask anything else, do that before I hit the end button, because I'm trying to find it here. Oh, found it. See you soon.